Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Hey, hold on. Stop that. No,
Whoa,
you don't want to
whoa, what is this? Is this a takeover?
You deserve to say those opening words.
Oh, come on.
That is not the acceptable intro. That's how you guys do it nowadays? Jeez, please. I mean, have some...
Actually, I think we have rolling start. We have rolling intros.
Say the word decorum.
Decorum.
Respect for the brand.
That's what you got to do. You got to deck them.
Who is this person coming on to this podcast that isn't theirs and talking like?
Is this a podcaster, Demetrius?
Yes, this is podcast Demetrius himself. Marcel, MTG. You really don't know who I am, and I can see that's the running joke, but it's the honest truth. You know, after listening to Kat and how she started during Kaladesh, I'm sure there's a whole swath of players that have never heard of who I am. Nor this other person, Ryan Bushard. Bushard, how are you doing, sir? It's been a while.
I am doing fantastic. Is this the first time, like this year, we've both managed to be on at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm the problem, but yes, we have done it.
This might be the first time in the last 2 years that all five of us have been on.
All five? Yeah.
Didn't we have all five
and
partially
we
for
have
episode 200?
We have about a 30-minute window here to do this.
So yeah,
thanks to Corbin, as usual.
We have Marcel and Ryan. We also have a guest tonight. We're joined by DJ Johnson.
Ooh, Douglas Johnson.
Well, thank you for joining us, DJ.
Used that joke in the past 100 episodes or so.
It's been a while though, actually, right?
It has been a while.
I think we thought the joke has passed, but it's not. It's going to be the one that keeps on giving.
Eventually, he'll be upgraded to the fifth host.
We're going to have a pretty warning in advance, everybody. We're going to have a pretty freewheeling episode here.
Loosey-goosey.
We're going to
have, who don't know,
we'll have some segments. We'll have some magic segments. Don't worry.
For 2/3 of this podcast's life, Ryan and Marcel were permanent hosts of this show. And they're gracing us with their presence tonight. They missed it. They missed us. They missed you, listeners. And they're back to impart their total lack of MTG finance knowledge at this point.
Yeah. Well,
hey. I've actually got back into it because of, well, not to the finance part, but I got into Arena, so I actually know about cards and I could talk about them with some knowledge instead of just pulling shit out of my ass.
And Ryan was so deep in 95 for a while, like everything he could tell us wouldn't be practical or useful for any of you, but now I feel like he's got some wisdom to impart, so we're glad to have both of you back on the cast.
Yeah, back on the bulk game, running my own deal, so I'm definitely a little more boots on the ground.
Well, and the fun trivia fact about the podcast here is for the first 11 episodes or something of the podcast, there were 3 hosts. It was me, Ryan, and Marcel.
You did 11 episodes?
It was, yeah, you came in at 10.
No,
well, we have been podcasting for a long time.
He said the first 9/11 episode. How many 9/11 episodes did you do?
He meant 9 to 11 episodes.
I think I said 9 or 11 in my defense.
I thought the point was you were never supposed to forget these kind of things.
Yeah.
There you go. Episode 10, Jason came on.
For the first time, then I came on as a guest again, then I guested on the next 300.
Yep.
Our intern is actually he's listening to every episode from 1 to now, and he's keeping a spreadsheet of who was on the most episodes and how many episodes every individual person, including the guests, were on.
Fantastic. I'm glad someone's doing that work.
Yeah, so he's on episode 50 or something right now.
The intern
can't you just buy him a fidget spinner or something else?
Well, the intern has been a source of great joy to everyone in the Discord server as he tells us about his love life and the ins and outs of his long distance relationship and the girlfriend who won't let him break up with her.
Oh my god, to be 20 again. I'm like,
Wait.
He's like, I don't know, she won't let me break. I'm like,
21.
no, dude, I got a
now.
kid, I got another one on the way, I got a mortgage, I got 2 car payments. You can end that shit with a text message. Get out.
It's not worth your
leave.
time.
I can't leave without faking my own death.
That entertainment only comes in the Discord. So I guess not everybody has access to it.
I mean, it also comes when Andy comes on the cast in a couple weeks.
I don't know if that could have been any more of a softball for Jason.
That's right. So for the simple low price of $1 a month, you can have access to our Discord.
Whoa, but how many cents a week?
That is 25 cents a week or less, depending on the month. That's only be 25 cents a week in February, in fact.
But what about the
serve up perfect
spreadsheet?
softball.
The spreadsheet's the best value of it all if you're really the hardcore finance grinder. Because with the spreadsheet, you get the information up to date while we do it in real time. Like, how could you not want that for $10 a month if you're at all semi-serious about finance? That's the level you need to be at.
Enjoy
Boom,
the
and-
5-person Patreon pitch.
You don't even
And
have
the more
to
you
listen to the
spend, the more these
podcast.
guys do. Yeah, it's true. You don't have to listen. And I mean, what, Corbin's lighting his hair on fire or something last week, and
Well, look, we've done some stuff. As a matter of fact,
something about
I
some
think
wives coming on
this
at
is
some
a very
point.
special. This is a very special episode because debuting that. I don't know. Do we want to do it now? Do we want to do it at the end of the episode?
Right now.
We have the video.
Oh, I need this. Please.
Okay,
now.
so I think what we're gonna do then is
What we're gonna do is figure out how to-
listen, we're gonna take a break right now. We're gonna take a second out of the show. We're all gonna queue up this video. We're all gonna watch it, react in real time, and everyone
Someone's
can then
already
watch
seen
it on the YouTube channel when it.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Because it was already on a website.
All right, so we're watching. You should be able to hear this if you're on the YouTube channel. All right, so I see this didn't come across very well in the video, but that's supposed. I'm looking at my Merfolk.
Yeah, this is some really good acting by Corbin. Ooh, I'm looking at record cards. Oh,
Well,
it's great next when he
I
holds
like
it up
you
to
try
the
to put a
screen.
card into the computer
Yeah.
to see if it like works.
If it's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, can I redeem this on Arena?
No,
Are you
the
scanning
idea
codes?
I love
listen,
the
listen.
staging. I love the WD-40 and the
Yeah.
glass there. Yeah.
Yep. No, look, I actually did both of those. But the idea was that I just sit at home and admire my Merfolk. But you can't seize my Merfolk deck, you kind of lose it.
Those JJ
Yeah.
gestures were perfect.
Corbin, is that one of those $20 chairs you get at like IKEA?
This chair was given to me as a hand-me-down.
I didn't,
The chair
I didn't
before
think
that.
it was as bad as it was.
The chair
I
before
like how you
that.
I like how you just sit on the floor cross-legged without like
I like
any
Corbin's
real
kid
Yeah,
did
you're
a
used to
shot
this.
and they didn't redo it. I'm like, oh, my kid's there, whatever.
My God, it's like the
Oh,
abyss.
I
It
didn't
goes
notice
into
the
the wide
beat-ups come in the
abyss.
corner.
Oh yeah, man, I staged that. Don't worry, because we went to beat up
I didn't
on our
catch
way
the
out.
beat-ups cup the first time.
Yeah,
I-
I didn't see it.
Dude, I kicked that chair like a boss.
I like how the bat did nothing.
Oh, we broke the bat. We broke the bat. But look, I did send that leg.
That was a decent golf swing. That was a decent like drive.
That wasn't golf, you idiot. That was baseball.
I'm surprised you guys, it didn't reflect and hit you guys.
Flying in baseball and there are no exposed fat guy midriffs in baseball. I think that was golf.
DJ doesn't understand that if
That
that
was
was
a
a
good
That
golf
was a
swing
good
in
shot
baseball.
with that match.
I like that you like left yourself a burn circle and then put sticks right at the bottom of it anyway.
No, that's
We didn't do shit. Dude, we didn't do shit. My dad lives in the boonies and we just went out there.
No, dude, those sticks are for like to bulk up the amount of ash to make sure all of our
Oh,
$10
okay.
patrons set up get some ash that is part of that chair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that went down pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not over.
That footage as well.
That's the best acting of the whole video right there. That's pretty good.
The crying,
Corbin, what's
yeah.
wrong?
You look like a hipster, Corbin.
Yeah, you got the full beard going, man.
It's just been a pretty
Yeah, I'm actually
hard day. You know, I knew it was coming. I've been trying to prepare myself. I really thought I was going to be okay, but
Are you at B-dubs?
Of course he's a beat
I don't know.
Obviously.
At least I have
They had the beat up cup,
To
so
make
he
me
went
feel a little
before
better.
and after.
No,
That's kind of on the
He
plate.
went twice.
I don't know. I mean, this
No,
isn't
we
even
recorded
sponsored
this in
food,
a-
so like, what's the point?
Thank
I don't
you.
know.
All right. Cool.
inside baseball.
No, it's too
I
good.
like,
jeez.
I like the fork with the wings.
Jeez, is that how you eat your wings, Corbin?
They're boneless
They're
wings.
tenders. They're tenders.
What?
Still.
You use a fork?
It's
What
a
is-
piece of chicken that just happens to have sauce in it. When you have chicken at home, do you use your hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You
I
have
use my
grilled
hands at
chicken at
every
your
op-
house and you just pick it up with your hands?
Yes.
I go to
Barbarian.
Michelin star restaurants and eat with my hands. So don't give me that shit. Come on
Okay.
now.
Okay, man. I guess I was taught some manners.
No, like if the food is meant to be finger food, picking it up with a fork is like asinine. With the
All right, man. They serve it with a fork. That's all I'm saying.
does,
Look,
that doesn't
that's
make
not-
it
look.
right.
They give you a
point
fork
is-
at a sushi restaurant. That doesn't mean you use it.
Look, the point is,
Exactly.
I hope everyone enjoyed the burning of the chair. Shout out to everyone who donated at www.patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery, because that's how we were able to do that. And I'm currently in a cheap chair. You can't see it back because there's nothing there.
What, that
It's
chair
just
wasn't
Why?
a cheap chair?
Because
Why?
I didn't understand how hard it was to buy a chair.
Oh,
It's not.
Oh,
it
is.
is. You got to spend the
Sounds
money
hard.
though.
You gotta get
No,
that
I was
Herman
willing to
Miller
spend the
air
money.
on.
I was willing to spend the money, but listen, that chair that we just burned was a hand-me-down from after it was thrown out at Marion.
I think Abraham Lincoln sat in that chair.
Yeah, well, no. The chair I had before that, I got out of a dumpster when I was in college. I used that one for 4 or 5 years. So this is the first time I've ever bought an office chair. And it was really an experience. I went into Office Depot and tried it. I had to go through like 5 different ones. I finally found the one I liked, decided on it. And then they didn't have any in stock. And I said, okay, what about anywhere else? And they say, no location in the city has. I'm like, okay, well, can I buy this one that I'm sitting in? And they go, no.
So something's telling me you
That's
didn't
a
start
great
looking to
story.
buy a chair
So
until
I went to Staples
after,
and
right?
bought a chair.
after
Well,
you
actually,
burn.
no, I tried to go immediately. I tried to burn the
wait,
chair
wait.
and then go on my way home.
So that's wow. That's Corbin logic for you right there. That's
No,
fantastic.
I've had similar chair buying experiences because there's a furniture store across the street from me, and I'd never been there. So my chair was broken, and I wanted to go buy one. And then they said, "Oh, the cheapest model we have is $300. It's garbage, and it'll take 3 to 4 weeks to get it to you."
Yeah, but I mean,
So-
if you knew this was a Patreon goal and it was coming up, why wouldn't you go buy a chair in advance?
They're
Shut up,
actually
man.
pretty
Get outta
decent.
here.
$200 gaming chairs.
Hindsight is 20/20 for that.
Hindsight,
situation.
got-
you had foresight. You knew it was coming.
But
It was
for
one of the
Corbin, that's
Patreon
hindsight.
goals.
I got you, Ryan.
I spent $200.
I got you.
I spent $200 on a chair. I have a new chair. The problem is I don't know how to put it together, and I
You only spent
should-
It
200.
comes
So
with
anyway.
instructions.
How do you
The-
you have a kid and you can't handle a chair? One of those is a little bit more difficult.
need Marianne to help me.
Oh,
Well, you needed her help with the kid too, so
I was gonna say, and the kid, coincidentally.
I
So
I
the
could
best
probably
piece of
figure
advice-
it out, but I haven't done it yet.
some of the best piece of advice I got from a Magic podcast was from Brian Wong when he was on Limited Resources, and he said that you should not go cheap when you spend on items that protect you from gravity. And he said that in reference towards a mattress,
beds,
a
chairs,
car,
yeah.
I like
a
that.
bed,
I like
a
that.
chair, and shoes.
a parachute.
Interesting.
Don't get a
Quite-
cheap ass
quite possibly.
parachute.
Interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
they had a study, a scientific study that a
Does that
parachute
mean you
doesn't
can't fly Frontier?
doesn't. The parachute doesn't contribute to survival rate.
What?
Yeah, they had a scientific study where they had someone jump off a plane when the plane was on the ground, and they did a blind test, and it was a whole
What?
serious study.
Dude, Marcel,
Look on the internet. I'm sorry, I
Marcel,
derailed.
would you like to jump out of a plane with me? I'll use a parachute, and you
Yes.
don't have to, and we can
I-
determine if it's an
I
accurate
understand that they did this as a joke,
I
but
heard
they
that
did
doesn't
it.
contribute to survivability.
But they did it through scientific the methods to do it correctly, and had a blind
study.
study.
No, there's only one, Marcel. There's one.
Hey,
it's
I
called
call-
the scientific method.
I call control
It's-
group. Can I be in the
It's
control group? For
literally
this study?
called the
You know, Corbin, there's the
scientific
Jenny
method.
McCarthy method. There's the
I was wondering, like, how did this study even happen? And then they showed a picture and the person jumping from the plane when the plane's on the ground where there's no chance of death. So it was a complete joke, but it was well done.
What's the Jenny McCarthy method? Is it you give your kid a tiny little piece of a parachute, and if they die in a fall later, you'd be like, "It didn't work."
No, if the parachute doesn't save them, it gave them autism.
Yeah.
Pretty much how it works.
Jeez.
Look, all right. I need you guys, since we're on the subject. This is a story I've actually been holding on to for a week.
Hey, you know what? Hey, let's do Breaking Bulk real quick,
All right, you're right. Let's do it.
and then we can do whatever we want. Because I would hate if someone never listened to our podcast again, because we talked about what we wanted to talk about on our podcast.
You're
That
right.
would be
So let's
truly
break
awesome.
some breaking bulk. Let's do breaking.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
All right,
There's
who
a
wants-
Saga Black Uncommon. Go.
There's a Saga Black Uncommon. Priest of Gix.
No.
Is it the enchantment thing?
Liturgy of Blood.
No.
No, I was thinking the veil of something. It's the one that gets tokens on it, right?
Okay, no, that's also wrong.
Okay.
I thought Ryan almost had it because he said the enchantment thing.
Oh, so is there no rest for the wicked? Is that the right set?
No.
All right.
No, not Vindicate.
Urza's is a real bad
Is it
one for me. I
Vindicate?
can never remember which sets each.
Is it only in Urza's?
He said it was an
Urza
uncommon.
Saga only card, I believe.
Okay.
I will double check that, but I'm 99% sure.
Okay,
I
what
have
card
numbers.
type is it? Help me out here.
I said
It's an
enchantment because
enchantment.
I said Ryan
It
almost
is an
guessed it.
enchantment. And it's not Liturgy of Blood, and it's not No Rest for the Wicked?
Nope,
And that's
no
not
numbers.
Vile for Requiem or whatever that is.
Planar Void says whenever a card is put into a graveyard, remove it from the game.
That was not Urza's
That's
Saga, was
Saga?
it? That was.
I thought that was
Urza's
Legacy.
It is. I'm looking at the card right now.
I swore that was
trust
Legacy.
you, but like Ryan and I both remember that different.
Scourge Familiar.
Oh shoot! It was Urza's Saga. Wow.
He already said the card, Corbin, and you're not even. You're two phrases back. We already covered it's an enchantment.
Shut up! Hey, shut up! I wasn't making a guess. I was reading the most expensive cards I was going to read.
Then lead up with that next time.
No, that's not how we do it on this podcast anymore. Corbin doesn't have to be afraid to be. Corbin's not afraid of getting pooped on by you and Marcel, so he just runs free. He gets pooped on by me and DJ, but so what? He's used to that, so he's like, now
there's
there
no
are
letting
four
him.
of us.
No way I'm letting him walk with that.
A 4-person clothesline to stop him from hitting the light pole.
Red Rover,
you're
Red
lucky
Rover.
that Ryan. You're so lucky that this is a internationally televised podcast. Internationally, because I just had such a mean response right there, but I can't. I can't.
Is it something about how my legs work? Go ahead.
I
hear
know,
it.
man. No, I
Come
wouldn't
on,
do
Corbin.
That. No, right.
Come on,
I just need
low-hanging
you
fruit.
to know. I just need you to know that I wouldn't do that.
No, make your super woke joke about the differently abled, and then get out of here because it's 11:45.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell the story? Is it about handicapped people, cripples, if you will?
If you will, I won't.
Hey, you guys remember Phyrexian Can't Walker? Well, if you don't, you go back to listen to episode 10 from 6 years ago. My God,
with some of our best guests in those first 10
Planar
episodes.
Void is Nickels at Card Kingdom. Next.
I have a.
Oh, we were doing a segment, weren't we?
A black creature from Fate Reforged.
Gurmag Angler?
Nope, that's a common. It says uncommon.
You didn't specify the rarity.
Oh well, now I'm saying uncommon.
Black. Is it is it one of the warrior creatures?
It is Merciless Executioner.
Okay.
I get these in bulk all the time. They're over $1 on Card Kingdom. They're close to $1 on TCG Player. They're only going to get better with Taste of Decks. So, cheers, Merciless Executioner. Thanks for being above $1.
Yeah, all those sacrifice effects are great.
Oh yeah,
All right.
Fleshbag Marauder's been printed into dust, but there's only one printing of Merciless Executioner, and I expect Plague Crafter. So just like if you have Plague Crafters, just put them in a box because they'll be $1 soon. Maybe it'll take a year or two, but like it'll get there. Why not? They're free in Draft Shaft. Just take them.
Right.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
I got a red common from Nemesis.
Nemesis. Is it Laccolith Rig?
No.
Seal of Fire.
No, it's
Is it Lightning Element? No, not Lightning Element. Was that it's like a 3/1? I think from Nemesis.
no, it's not. It is.
Not Seal of Fire.
It's a non-creature spell.
Non-creature, and it's not Laccolith Rig.
Mm-mm.
Or
Mog something. The
It's
Mog
not a
Shatter.
creature.
No, the Mug Shatter's uncommon. I thought
No.
Is it?
that was Mug Salvage.
Wait, is it? Are you talking about the one that puts the 2 Mogs into play?
No, I was guessing Mog Salvage. Jason knew the card name. I didn't know the card name.
I played back then.
What's the one that puts the 2 creatures into play?
I do not know. I'm not. I didn't play during this time when Nemesis was around.
I think. Wow, a non-creature spell.
It's a sorcery from Nemesis, a red sorcery.
Does it
It
switch
doesn't
a
have
creature's
common.
power and toughness?
Mm-mm. It does.
Can't tell us what it does.
You tell me what
One
it does on the card, probably.
I don't know it.
It
Yeah,
does
I've-
damage to each player.
Oh, Flame Rift.
Flame Rift.
Yes, 77
Oh, geez.
cents.
Oh, well,
Interesting.
that was
We all, like,
that's
avoided the
down
obvious
from like
one.
$3. Like, yeah, that was.
It used
Yeah,
to be
it's-
quite a bit more. Yeah.
It's coming back though, because it did go down to almost absolute bulk. So
Because
it's
it is still
back a
it is
little
still
bit.
4 damage, and the burn decks sometimes struggle to get rid. There's so many 3 damage spells. getting 4 damage for one spell in the burn deck seems good, but like sometimes that life matters if you're getting swung at by you didn't used to get swung at by like Delvers and stuff. So
well, there's also no more death right, so burn as a whole.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah. Yeah,
it does activate Spectacle, so I don't know if that's a thing. Why?
Not in Legacy.
Not really in Legacy burn because you have so many 1 mana 3 damage spells.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No. All right, I've got one for you guys, and this is a rare, so I mean, it may not be practical to guess, but it's recently moved out of bulk status, and it's, I don't know, maybe too late. It's probably too late to get it on the jump, but it is no longer bulk, and it recently was. It is not. It's a New Phyrexian Black Rare.
Is it
Praetor's Grasp?
Yeah, I was gonna say Praetor's Grasp. I love
Heartless
that card.
Summoning?
Nope.
Heartless Summoning. That's not even.
That was
New
Innistrad.
Yeah.
You guys might not even know this. That's why
From New Phyrexia.
That's why it's like. That's why I think it's Breaking Bolt.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's obviously hard to just start naming rares, but
does it have Infect mana or whatever you call that?
it does not have Phyrexian mana.
Is it Life's
Phyrexia's
Finale?
Hand of the
not.
Praetors?
It is neither of those.
Glistening Oil.
It is Glistening Oil.
Nice.
Why is that
Glistening
worth
Oil.
money?
Glistening Oil
Because it gives
is
a creature
spiking.
infect, right?
Yeah, it's spiking right now. I don't know why it's spiking though, because I don't know what has pushed, infect in 2019 specifically. But the card's on the move. It's gone from $1. It's gone from under $1. It was 60 cents, 3 months ago, and it's $2 market price. So
Maybe
no
it's
longer
just,
bulk.
Because there's nothing in EDH that's recent. Like Hapatra was
That's
like
the-
the last deck that cared about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I have no idea what's driving the price here, but it's $2, and it was bulk before.
That's
So,
cool. Yeah, I have those in bulk for sure. I gotta go get those.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so this is one I had to go back through. I was picking it the entire time, but it wasn't really worth anything up until very recently. I'm not going to give away the set because that'll give away, but green, uncommon, and standard.
Is it the?
Thank you for narrowing it down to 11 sets.
Is it the Ram?
Nope.
Is it Kumina Speaker? Is it Merfolk Branchwalker?
Nope.
You said it's green.
Yep.
The
And
green
it's
uncommon. It's stupid.
I don't miss
Thrashing
you.
Brontodon?
I don't miss you being
Nope.
part of this podcast.
No, this one should be easy.
I picked the black card, guys. Which set? I don't know. Figure it out.
First off, it's not in the last set because I said it wasn't worth anything until recently. The last set's only been out 3 weeks.
It's stupid.
It's a card that's $2 now, and it's the new Charter Course, and it's because of a new theme that just became playable.
You're the new Charter Course.
Great.
Charter Course.
Charter Course
this
away from this
podcast.
pick.
All right, it's Circuitous Roots. The thing that gets you 2 gates.
Wow, Circuitous Roots, really?
It's like actually on buy list, and it's a real card on
nice.
TCG.
I you know what? That's as much as I just pooped right in your face. That's not that's not something I
That's
knew.
probably the best breaking bulk pick of the day.
Well, like
It's
the
not,
gate,
but it's not bad.
the gate deck's like an FNM thing. I feel like the gate deck was better last time around.
It plays 10th in the SCG or something like that, or top 16 at least.
I mean,
one
it's
version of it.
you got the burn
It's
spell.
what
that's
I'm
pretty
playing.
Good. You got the ram. Like it's the
Well, the
angel.
Ram, the Giant, is very good too. Everything to do with
Yeah.
gates is very good and impactful on the game,
Well,
and
the
that's what's
fact that,
really made the difference.
Yeah, the Circuitous
The
Roots.
fact-
If you're playing gates, it's very good.
Yes, and I think the thing that really made the deck was the fact that now you have the new not rampant growth, but the new Explore, and so now you have multiple ways to be able to get that ramp going early on, and that was what the deck really needed. You couldn't just rely on the 1 or 2 spells you had before. But yeah, TCG player has them at 245 for the median now. The lowest ones online for a place or more is 298 a piece.
They couldn't reprint Maze's End. That's what I want to know.
To
Or
be
could
fair,
you-
I
or
think
could you
Maze's
root
End,
for
given that, well, I don't think it would matter. Given how, I don't know if you'd even play it, to be honest. But I think you could ramp to it a little too quickly, given all the spells you have right now and how long some of these games are lasting. I guess it would have given,
There's like a 1 mana get a gate, right? And then like a 4 mana get 2.
Well, the 1 mana one's bad.
The 1 mana one just puts it in your hand. That's just a lay up the land, but for gates too. You can get a basic or a gate.
Yeah, but it's still like if you're, it's not great for ramping, but it's great for finding the one that you still need if you're trying to Maze's End.
Yeah, but no. So anybody who had their Guilds of Ravnica bulk, just laying around, go and pull your circuitous roots back out because you probably didn't grab those the first time.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So you guys are lucky. I can't stick around this week. I've got a story for next week. I'll save it.
So you're going to ruin 2 podcasts then.
That's the goal.
He does not have time.
But here's the thing. We were talking about this before the show. I tell a lot of stories on the podcast. Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them are intentionally bad. But we were talking beforehand, and there were like 4 different stories that people were like, oh, this was a good one of your stories. Was it that? And I'm like, no, it's something else. And there's just a lot of good stories. So.
They're all about you getting hurt. Is this one about you getting hurt?
To be fair, you took that very much out of context.
You're like, wow, all my stories are great. These specific group that have this one thing in common.
That's simple. I'm not letting you get away with that. Just so everybody knows at home, that's not how it went down.
They're good stories in relative position towards your other stories, not in the grand scheme of storytelling.
Jason is right. It is.
Well, don't spoil too much. Just come back next week. Get out of here, Corbin.
All right, see you guys.
Later.
All right, let's come back and do some emails. So, hey, Corbin had to bounce. Fortunately for you, you guys are lucky. You don't have to hear him anymore. So we put off his story till next week. But what we're not putting off till next week is our emails. If you are a patron who goes to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and pays us $10 a month or upward, you are guaranteed to have your email read on this podcast. But as you can probably tell, we don't get enough that we run out of emails. So send us emails at brainstormbrewery@gmail.com, and we will read them on this podcast, and we will mispronounce your stupid name, and we will answer your questions. So thanks so much for sending us emails. And to our patrons, thanks for being a patron. Put what Patreon level you are and what crazy device you are sending the podcast an email on, and we will say all that stuff. DJ might dox you, but he's not going to dox you tonight. He's just going to read your email. DJ, what is our first email?
This one says, bad GP dates and UMA from Chris Brown.
Well, he's still calling it a GP, so it was probably a long time ago.
13 days ago.
Like the Chris Brown?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Read this email or you're going to get beat up, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, first time emailer here. I've been listening to the podcast since Seance became a joke, but finally became a $5 supporter right before the year's end. Thanks for the tokens, so I figured I would finally chime in.
Thanks for
First,
locking in.
What the hell is up with WotC planning bleeping GP or bleeping MFs on holiday weekends? Last year, my friends and I got an Airbnb for GP Providence and made it into an awesome guys weekend. This year, it's on a holiday weekend, and I can't because I have a wife and kids. Then, I think maybe GP Niagara, nope, Easter. So box topper prices. Do you guys think these are going to eventually follow the same path as expeditions, inventions, and invocations, where they hang at their current price, that spike like crazy next year to buyout? It doesn't look like a second print run is coming, and I'm considering buying in a few for modernity age. Sat from my couch watching the Patriots lap up the salty tears of NFL fans all over America.
I think he was referring to the Patriots beating the Chiefs, right? Not the Patriots.
Yes, this was 13 days ago, so.
Well, either way, he was right. So, go Patriots.
A big secret about the GPs and that is that they go to conventions that have the cheapest space. And usually that's during the off season. And it so happens that holidays, a lot of people that have conventions and such, which are the people that sop up a lot of the spaces that are used by these event halls, don't plan on the holidays because they want to be with their families. So that's when you have, an event coordinator, what's that, the TOs come in, or trying to fireball at this point, and they get the cheap stuff. I don't think
it's much of a secret, but I don't think it's something that people think about very much.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a secret, but a lot of people, don't acknowledge that. That's what they're like. Why are we in Vegas in the middle of August? Because it's cheap.
Because it's cheap. Because it's hot. That's why we're in Toronto in February and Vegas in August. Because it's Well,
so you can see the seasons.
Also, you're a card game, a collectible card game for virgins, right? Like the fact that you got a wife and kids, you're an outlier. So we don't build this game around your schedule. We build the game around people.
That's a bad stereotype.
Only go home to visit their parents to have their mother do their laundry. So
you think they care about Easter weekend when cards like Demonic Tutor and Torment of Hellfire exist?
Yeah, the 700 Club told me this game is evil. Ryan, just let us stereotype people who are very, very similar to us. Can you just let us do that?
You have a wife and kids. You're both married. All three of you are married.
He doesn't go to GPs, though. He's not a GP grinder.
So I do want to comment on the box topper part, though. So I actually think that the trajectory we saw with the expeditions, you saw all of them spike way up, and then you saw the kind of the recoil of the ones where people went, oh, wait, these are still garbage, right?
Maybe we don't need Corehaven.
Right. And so, like, some of those cut all the way down in half for some of those prices. And, the good ones stayed where they were. They lost a little bit, and then they started gaining over time again. With these ones, though, what I don't think people are thinking about is, like, the quantity that is out there comparatively to your expeditions. I mean, we can't figure out exactly the amount, but I'm going to guess it's at 25% or less of each individual one. You have twice as many as you did.
You're saying there were more expeditions than box toppers?
Oh, I think there's 4 to 5 times as many of each expedition as there is a box topper, yeah. I mean, again, there's no exact way to know, but just predictively, like, it has to be like that, because you were getting on average, I would say 2 expeditions per case, which is 1 per 3 box. And you got to figure there was that much more BFZ printed.
What do you think there were more boxes of UMA or cases of like a regular
cases of BFZ for sure?
Box
not close.
Yeah.
Not, and that's why I'm saying like it might even be 10 times for all I know. But conservatively, I would say it's at least 4 to 5 times as many out there, which means the ones that are good, like Liliana, could be 500 at some point. The thing that's holding Liliana back, which is like your premier top one, and actually the premier top one's including Snapcaster as well, is you already have promos and you already have other beautiful foils for them. Whereas in the expeditions, it was a brand new thing at the time. I don't know if we'll see some of them kind of hit
some of those. That was like the first and only time they were foiled,
right? But like the Karn and whatnot, I think that has a lot of room to grow because it is the pimpest version by far out there. Whereas your Liliana, it's arguably like I think it's the pimpest, but people will say like the PTQ one is cool. I mean, there's enough foils out there that you can get a hold of one and it'd be fine. Whereas in like Karn, it's like unless you have a new Phyrexia one, the Modern Masters ones look like garbage. So you pretty much, box topper or bust.
I feel that, yeah.
Yep. Get the good ones that have minimal other reprints.
Yeah, and if this is something that like the only other foil that exists is like an old foil, you definitely want them because I think that you'll see a lot of people targeting those ones.
But like the box topper, like Eternal Witness does not look that much better than the UMA foil Eternal Witness. Like the border's a little bit extended. It doesn't look that much better.
Yeah, that'll make it. It's not about a little bit better. It doesn't look any better. Is it the best?
Yeah, because
that's all that matters. Then
because it's something like Eternal Witness, like even the bad one. Well, the bad ones are like Lava Claw Reaches, but like
right,
like Kitchen Finks can like if some person wants to put together 4 of those Kitchen Finks, we're predicting it's 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 10 times as hard to put together a set of those Finks versus putting a set together of like Corehaven. I don't know why you do that, but.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Name an expedition.
Well, and I think a lot more of these are targeted towards, either Commander, Legacy, or Modern. So, like, you don't really have these outlier cards. You do have the Lava Claw Reaches and stuff, but you don't have as many cards.
But it's not like, here's
fringe,
or
fringe EDH playable cards. Because that's the cards that really hurt the most.
But it's like they did the whole cycle of Gear Hulks as masterpieces. Right. Yeah, they do, yeah.
But that's because it was tied to the set. They had to tie some card to the set.
No, I get that, but that also just, like, dilutes your total pool of possible prints.
Right.
When you have a whole cycle of stuff from the set.
Yeah.
Well, and there's twice as many of these as there were expeditions, too, right? In any particular set? Because there's 40 of these and there was 20 expeditions.
Yeah.
So when do you think they're going to do the masterpieces again? Because they said they're not going to do it for the time being.
Well, I don't. They were doing it in every set, and they're like, "That's too much," and then they're like, "Not doing it at all," and that's too little. I think if they don't do box toppers, they'll do something. Because like, look, you don't need to juice a Ravnica set, but if you're going to some other weird plane, they might need to juice it a little. So I think the next time they go to a plane that's like kind of lame, they'll probably do masterpieces just to give people an excuse to bust those boxes.
I think it'll be 2 years before we see them again.
2 years from the last printing, or 2 years from
Yes, 2 years
Well,
from the last
how
printing.
are they going to do Mythic Edition? Because if they do Mythic Edition, that's one thing. But like,
So I think we're going to start seeing a shift with this War of the Spark set. I think we're going to focus more on it. I think they're realizing very much that you can sell your set and all these flashy things, but that's not going to sell the casual player. While it's nice to be able to bust open a $100 card and sell it and get a whole other box, that you're playing a lottery at that point. That's not going to draw every casual player in. What is drawing casual players in is printing these very good legendary cards at uncommon that are very accessible. If you bust a box, you're gonna have a lot of playables. You're not stuck.
It's not
with
even
a ton
about
of
busting a
bulk.
box. It's about being able to go to Walmart and get like 2 packs.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Like you're guaranteed a legend in every pack of Dominaria. That was a fantastic idea. I think they've been crushing it with these last 2 sets, and I think War of the Spark, we're gonna start seeing our first rare planeswalkers. If that set does not have 15 plus planeswalkers in it, they're messing up. Plain and simple, I will call it out. If it doesn't have at least 15 planeswalkers in it, they messed up.
hey
That is
man,
the easiest way to sell that
MTG
set.
Ryan has been pretty decent at his predictions, so I could see that. And why not,
So
man?
they're going to do 15.
No, it's a
I would
planeswalker
like-
based set.
About it.
Maybe they'll
I
But they're
would
going to do
come
15
with it.
planeswalkers. I think they're going to do 15 mythics, so they'll never do a planeswalker
No.
rare.
No, I think that we need to because the thing that we think about is we think about mythic planeswalkers as these like iconic characters in the storyline. Realistically, though, cards like Tybalt should have been a rare. He was iconic on that plane. He did one thing, and then he wasn't relevant again. And we need more planeswalkers like that because not everybody who has a spark is this major player in the storyline, and that's what should be reserved for the mythics.
You want to hear ballsy?
Plus,
Yeah,
when
ballsy.
someone opens a
Uncommon.
box.
Uncommon.
I agree with that.
Whoa.
I agree with that. I just don't think that they're ready for it, and there's no reason for them to make that jump when they can make a big deal about it being a rare. I
If
think
they made it
uncommon.
uncommon, it'd be like 2 abilities. Like they go all the way down to that.
Or
and
it's
then make
7,
Agreed.
or it's 7 mana and they're okay abilities.
Right, which is totally
Potentially.
fine.
That's a
Like,
very,
think about the
very
dual deck
tight road to
planeswalkers.
walk standard design space wise though.
Why? You already have a number of cards in standard that destroy planeswalkers. You're not printing more good planeswalkers or great planeswalkers.
I'm not
You're
saying they have to
printing-
make them all like absurdly unique or powerful, but like there's a limited number of amount of design space they have when like making these walkers. So a lot of them
This
will end up
is
being
true.
unexciting.
I don't agree with that. I think they've really explored
Well,
a very
have you-
small amount of that design space, and I think, like you said, two abilities is perfect. Why can't we just have a planeswalker that's just every turn one of its +1s? It doesn't need to be flashy. It can be a 2-mana planeswalker that its +1 is a Birds of Paradise effect, and then maybe has a -8 that makes it so all your lands tap for 3 mana for the rest of the game or something like that. Like that would be an absolutely fine planeswalker. It doesn't even need to be like a really important character.
This is why you
And-
don't work at Wizards, because you fart out like pretty okay ideas that easily. You would make everybody else look bad. He's like, yeah, just do exactly that, and then people would be like taking notes.
I mean, okay, I don't even want a job in R&D, but I'd take it.
You want to
But-
work in
Yes,
the
you
cafeteria
do.
with?
Quit
I get it.
lying.
No, I want a job in their marketing department. I think that needs the most help.
Oh,
think
I
their
wanted to work
R&D
in the
is-
cafeteria. I thought we all were gonna get. You
Oh,
said
that's fine too.
You said on episode 17, go back and listen, that we were all going to get jobs in Wizards Cafeteria, and then we would hang out and we would play like Hearthstone on our breaks, and then like if our supervisors caught us playing Hearthstone, we'd be in trouble. So that would be like cool that we'd be like sneaking away.
Where
to do
did-
that.
That was a real Corbin story right there. I don't.
Episode 17. Go back and listen.
See, if you would
I
have just
don't-
not said 17 in Hearthstone, then you would have been good.
Oh no,
But you-
because that was way before. Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah. Just gave yourself away. It's all
Someone's
right.
gonna.
Wait, was
tweet
that
me,
before Hearthstone was out?
That's an anachronism because Hearthstone. You're right. It wasn't
Hey.
Hearthstone. It was Ascension. Sorry.
Wow, he's
Hey.
just
Remember-
like stereotyping
remember
our
Ascension?
Now you
listeners
might be
too.
right. Okay.
Remember Ascension?
I do remember Ascension.
Remember Aaron the Godslayer? He came on this podcast one time, I think, right?
I think he was on a couple times early on.
I have no
He,
idea.
he
what
was
you're
watching
talking
TV, pretending not to be bored on episode 10. He was
Talk
in the
about
room for
people that no one would ever know.
Well,
You had to be a real deep. If you remember Aaron the Godslayer, you're a deep listener from the way
we didn't
back.
even make a token for him. We're kind of like Ascension.
Didn't even let him pick his own card. How great. But
So let's get back on track.
yeah,
Where
I
are
was
we
gonna say,
at?
where
So
were
next
we at
email.
here?
Come on, DJ. We're going too far down the wrong way. Where's Corbin at when we need him?
Back to emails. Are you sure?
No one has ever said where's Corbin when we need him.
because those two things don't fit together.
All right. So what do you guys think about? So we got some. Let's talk about some controversial.
Okay.
So what do you think with the arena coming? And there's definitely a lot of talk about this being the death of paper Magic. We starting to see the GPs losing coverage. I mean,
the GPs lost coverage one GP, and then the next GP they're like, yeah, we got coverage.
No, but they added text, but there's not video coverage. Video coverage is going away. There's definitely
then 95%
of the people who were complaining about the lack of video coverage didn't watch video coverage.
They bitched about video coverage.
All right,
to be fair.
Hold on. Can I finish my point? I get you guys. This is a hot topic. All right.
No, you're right. Can you finish? Let's about Marcel finish his whole point before we shit directly on him. Can we do that? Before we tell him he's a stupid idiot and he's wrong. Let's wait him tell the whole thing.
So there's the talk is this is conspiracy theory. This is definitely deep level, blah 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 blah. Anyway, but
deep state,
whatever. Yeah. So the death of paper Magic. So I'm not going to say that it's the death of paper Magic, but if they start saying pulling back from supporting paper as much as they have, what steps do you think that they would do to do so? And
that's
where do you see concerns if that ever does play out, that they want to make Arena the premier thing?
It can't. Arena can be the premier thing. It can be, but the thing is, so many people are deep on paper collections. They can't divorce themselves entirely from paper Magic just because.
I'm not saying they're divorcing it entirely. I'm just saying, but if they were to cut back,
they wouldn't,
and start to scale back. They would never scale back at any point.
I think it's going to work the other way around.
If their priorities shifted and they wanted to make digital the priority, this is a scenario. Just go with it. If they wanted to make digital the priority and they're going to make paper into the non-priority, where do you think they would start cutting back, and where would you be concerned about that?
Where would they start cutting back? I don't think they would be emphasizing a tournament series that wasn't just completely online. Like, there's no reason to be bringing all these people together for these things.
But here's a thing you need to think about, Marcel, about why this is not relevant. What if Wizards never printed a paper card starting tomorrow? How long would it take before paper died out with all the people who own paper cards still wanting to use them? Like, people would still be playing Modern and Legacy and Vintage and like maybe even Current Standard as some sort of bridge format. I think if Hasbro dissolved Wizards tomorrow, people would play with their current Magic cards for a long time. So I don't think we
still play L5R. They're going to play Magic.
Yeah, and L5R is like
people play the WoW TCG.
Yeah. People still Dude,
Magic will not die at this point.
I buy the Ninja Turtle TCG on eBay and built a deck to play against Aaron the Godslayer. Like,
and we broke the game the first night.
Before we need to worry, Magic would have to go away to such an extent that it would take, it would have to completely disappear, and then it would be 2 years before we worry. So I don't think we need to worry about them scaling back a little. I don't even think that would affect our bottom line at all.
Okay. In fact, I think it's a positive, and I think that people are freaking out the wrong way about it. Everyone I have talked to and everything that I have seen indicates that anyone who has access to Arena right now is actually playing more Magic than they did before, because the majority of people who picked up Arena are people who didn't have time in real life to play. And if you don't have time to play Standard all the time, you're not going to invest in a deck because you didn't have time to go and play test it and all these other things required to go play an FNM. Whereas if you can play on Arena, it's really easy to go, well, then I'll just go buy that that Standard Burn deck because it's only $80 anyway, and I will play in a couple FNMs because I have time at home to practice and figure out how to play it. I've seen a lot more people excited about real life Standard because of Arena. And I think
go ahead.
And I think that the idea that people are ever going to divorce from wanting to play with their friends in person is completely wrong. I've played a lot of years of my Magic career have been almost strictly playing Moto, and it is far more miserable. I have a much tougher time staying attached to the game and wanting to continue playing when I'm playing strictly online. Like, the reason we started all playing this game was for the social aspect, and that's not going to die anytime soon.
People brought this topic up when Moto came out. Oh, what if they start scaling back on paper? Duels of the Planeswalkers. But what if they start scaling back on paper? Arena. But what if they start scaling back on paper?
And here's the thing. Arena is the perfect marriage of Duels of the Planeswalkers and Magic Online.
Yep.
It has all the playability, all the verisimilitude of Magic, but it has all of the, here's an easy ramp to start playing Magic. Arena is like Duels. It's almost Duels of the Planeswalkers in terms of, hey, idiot, never played Magic before. Here's how to do it. Here's
and
the
big
cards.
flashy dragons and card animations.
Yep. Everything people like. It's Hearthstone plus Duels plus Magic Online. It's the perfect amalgam of all that. And it's a ramp for people who've never played Magic before to start playing the game. And as soon as they start playing Arena, they're going to think about FNM. And even if it's 1% or 5% of those people, that's still a net positive. Duels of the Planeswalkers drove people to play Magic in record numbers. Arena's going to do that even more because Arena's a better project, a better product than Duels. Because enfranchised players were bored with Duels, whereas enfranchised players really like Arena because it's almost Magic Online.
Yep. Well, I'm glad I brought this up. So I agree with you. When I went to the pre-release, I heard everyone in there talking arena. So there's obviously definitely a correlation of players that are playing Arena that are going out to playing at LGSs. And so to say that Magic is going to go away because of this is definitely, I think, false. I think especially with casual, there's no way they would ever give up EDH. You can't do that digitally. That's definitely a group social.
Yeah.
It's not great. You're never going to reproduce the experience, and they make so much money off of that. That if at the very least, if Magic was going to go away, or whatever, if they were going to de-emphasize paper, it would be an increased emphasis, involvement into EDH, and then, but my only thing that I could see is. Standard is the end all be all. If all of a sudden, Arena has these tournaments that become a way to get people, the casual person, into, the PT, and depending on how that structure works, if Arena is really the one way of doing it, then you may see a lot of people not building a paper collection to build an Arena collection so that they start playing there. And then you may see a shift in the market if Arena is a better way to get to the competitive high-end level. So we'll see how they support Arena in that aspect. But I do think that they've done a good job of keeping best of one and best of three separated. So you have two different play experiences. And so paper will always be unique. And I think they're very sensitive to the fact that paper is the lifeblood of the game. But I think that, the forces going against it is pushing them to want to reevaluate what's going on.
I can't see Wizards making a really shitty decision, but I can see Hasbro making a really shitty decision.
Yeah.
I can see some Hasbro executive like, hey, my kid plays that Fortnite, bruh, make Magic a online thing, bruh. I can see some Hasbro dipshit whose last job was working on Rock'em Sock'em Robots coming over to Magic because he got a promotion or whatever. But I don't know, if Wizards is driving things, they've made some questionable decisions over the years, but for the most part, I think they know how to drive people to Magic, and I don't think Arena is driving people from Magic. I think it's driving them to it. And
yep. So speaking of driving,
I'm not that worried.
How about we drive into pick of the week?
Well, hey, that's look at you, man.
That was not jarring at all. Wow.
Hey, when has Marcel ever had a jarring segue? Come on.
I know, but I'm used to Corbin when I've been listening lately, so I'm just or lack of Corbin, depending on the particular cast. But
I don't think anyone's ever complained about a lack of Corbin. He has been on about as many episodes as you, Ryan, because he skips a lot. So,
pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Yeah, that's true. I can go first, but I can't decide between the two cards, so someone should steal the other one if I don't pick it. Card from the new set. I think that Mesmerizing Benefit is a good card to look at. It is a mythic. It does have some very weird and powerful effects, including hexproof on the initial creature. It is 5 mana for a 5/4. You get 2 little guys to go with it. If they block, the guys don't untap. This card is just over $1 right now because everyone's so focused on the rest of the set. I think it will probably see some amount of standard play through its life. And being a mythic, it's instantly a $5 card and it shows up in any deck. Right now it's at bulk mythic status already, and I just don't think it's going to stay there throughout its life. And the non-standard card that I would pick, well, it's in standard now, but not for standard purposes, is Sunbird's Invocation, because that card's finally back down to like $1 rare. I don't think it'll ever really go any lower because it's so powerful.
I love Sunbird's Invocation.
And I think that long term that card is just, it's going to be a $5 card at some point. Like people are going to forget about it, and it'll just be $5. Like it's very powerful.
The only thing is, I could see you have a limited number of spots at the 6-mana Big Dirtly enchantment slot, right?
Yep.
So like you have Swarm Intelligence and 1,000-Year Storm and Sunbird's Invocation like right now. But like I could see it becoming obsolete just because they print some 7-mana like monstrosity that does something.
But in Commander, there's so many ways to stack your deck and make that card so good. I think that there will at least be some use
Ryan,
for it regardless.
I totally agree with you like that right now. But I'm saying it's possible that in the next 2 to 3 years that you need to like wait those 2 to 3 years for the price to go up. I'm thinking it could become obsolete just because they love to use that design space to print those big dirtle. And
that's fair.
I don't.
So they just overload past it.
Well, yeah, if they print something like really big and dumb at 6 or 7 mana, I don't see you saying let's play both. I think
Sunbirds is unique. It's a unique way of playing though. So even you have your choice of 7 drop.
I agree. Because like I would play 1,000-Year Storm and Sunbirds and Swarm Intelligence in the same deck. Like maybe. But like,
yeah, but you could all split them apart and build a separate deck around each one of those, and then have a fun deck to play with also.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I'm just saying like it's a little bit fraught because like what could happen in the next 2 years. But at the same time, I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I picked Sunbird's Invocation maybe at more money than it is now. Like so, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Right. It's a great pick.
Either way, I think both cards at $1 are a fine time to get in on them. And, everyone's so focused on every other card.
The
Mesmerizing Benefit. Yeah, I mean, for a Mythic, we'd have read this in any other set and been like, this is a very playable card. But just because of the way Standard is right now, I don't think it's necessarily good enough. But we are going to, you got to remember, see a very interesting shift when we lose Dominaria and you lose all these Teferi decks. And suddenly, like, Blue is going to have to take a new route in how it plays in Standard. And I think that it could be this more, feet on the ground, attacking with creatures style Blue decks. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that card sees any amount of play at all. And it's such a cheap buy-in. There's no risk involved, really.
Well, the problem is you got a card like Underrealm Lich that's, like, in 1,000 decks on EDH Rec. Like, it's a really good Muldrotha, Marin, and Sidisi card. And that's like $3 because it's not relevant in Standard. As good as it is in EDH, it's not relevant in Standard. So I would think that like it needs to get some Standard relevance to go above like $1 or $2. But like
right, yeah, I don't think this is for EDH at all. I'm pretty sure this is just like it's going to see some Standard play.
It's not. I'm just saying like it's Standard is. I'm saying that a really good EDH card like Underrealm Lich is worth like nothing because. Standard's all that really matters in like the first 6 months it sets out. So it 100% relies on Standard to do anything.
Yep.
Okay. DJ got one?
I have there was a TCG player kickback sale today.
Yep, 10% buy bonus bucks on all singles, 24 hours only on Monday. So like, why are we even talking about it? It's too late. Sorry.
Well, it's more of the fact that I got a lot of data on cards that would sell well for me on today. And one of my most popular selling cards today was Isolated Chapel. And that is currently the cheapest dual land out of Dominaria at around $4. $4.55-ish. And we have seen check lands like Sulphur Falls be worth $10. And so this is just sort of on my radar as like a Esper control thing or just any sort of like mid-rangey control deck that could come out of Ravnica Allegiance. Like once the dust settles, once people figure out how to fight the gate deck, once people figure out how to fight the aggro decks, Esper control tends to be where the format tends to settle a lot of the time once we get into like the more solved, I guess is the best way to put it, Standard formats. And so Isolated Chapel is going to be a very, very good card in that deck, especially if like it's a 4-of, because we have shocks and check lands, and so yeah, I've sold a lot of isolated chapels today, and that's just sort of like, I wonder if I underpriced these kind of thing, or I wonder if I should have held on to them. So I would get your set of isolated chapels now before a few months from now.
Yeah, for a while there, like Hinterland Harbor and Isolated Chapel were like $2.
Yep.
That wasn't like November, December, and like that was something we talked about on the cast, but like we never really made an official pick. So like this will happen again. It'll happen where like half of like the cards in a 10-card cycle will get cycled in, and then the rest won't. Like if you're selling Hinterland Harbor at $2, you're screwing up because it'll be 6 soon. So yeah, I think Chapel still got room to move up, and like especially because of other formats outside of Standard, where Teysa is like the most popular EDH commander to come out of this set, and like we still haven't really seen like Hydroid Crassus like made Hinterland Harbor go way up, but like what have the other stuff done? If an Afterlife deck is going to emerge, it's going to take a little bit longer than the like, hey, I have red creatures and burn spells type deck. So I don't hate Chapel at its current price even.
Yeah, I think solid. You spend $20 in your playset now and just feel good about it if you're a Standard player.
Yep, and when it's a $40 playset soon, you'll be like, wow, cool, thanks, Brainstorm Brewery.
And eventually, you should just keep all those cards in your collection, long term.
Yep, and
you should have your land base, buy your lands, and keep them, and have them.
Because they're gonna dump value at a reprint. You're gonna be like, oh no, but this like just ride the wave. Wait.
When Paper Magic dies, the dual lands will still hold value.
All right, so I got to pick. I don't know how great. I think this is more. I think it has time to go down. People are overlooking it. I think it has potential in Standard at some point, but this is Biomancer's Familiar. This is for Standard. Yes, I do think so. It's green and a blue for 2/2 mutant. Activated abilities of creatures you control are 2 less to activate. And then you could also have a creature adapt as though, even if they have a 1/1 counter. It works with adapt well. We have the next set that's going to come out that's going to play with all these cards. Reducing all your abilities by 2 is pretty significant. We're going to probably see some additional abilities come out later on. Maybe
Training Grounds is a $15 card.
Yeah, and I think in Standard you can do some pretty. I've seen some stuff done with this deck with the adapt, and it could be explosive, but I think it's being overlooked at this point, and maybe it might need a couple more players before it does good. But the fact that it's on there and it's dipping down, it's like $1.32. You can find it around $1 if you want to get a playset somewhere. I think there's more room for it to go down because I don't think that it's going to do anything in Standard until potentially the next set. So you have some time for it to go down a little bit more.
I mean, this is a bulk rare. This is 50 cents on Card Kingdom. Like it can't get much cheaper. So the next set could have something for it. Yeah, I can see that. But like it hasn't really caught on in EDH yet. Like Tasigur decks are adding it, and that's like about it, which seems weird because like a lot more decks than that are running Training Grounds. You know, like Sliver Overlord, Tasigur, Scarab God. Well, Scarab God can't run Biomancer's Familiar. Thrasios decks, Kydel decks, Sliver Queen. So the fact that like it's got that green means it goes in about half as many decks as Training Grounds, but like Training Grounds is still a $15 card. So like I don't think it necessarily like can't go anywhere for sure. Like but I think it's really largely Standard dependent right now. I think you're right, but like, hey, we got another set, and who knows what's going to happen with the next set with legendary creatures and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's a card that does something, but it's not doing anything right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that like half of its abilities are set specific, because that kind of makes people be like, oh well, like I'm not going to be adapting, but yeah, we can do. I got a pick if you'd like to hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is a card that is way more money on Card Kingdom than it is on TCG Player. And while that's like not necessarily new, it's twice as much on Card Kingdom as it is on TCG Player. This is a card that's a great card for Taste decks. I picked this at 50 cents a long time ago. I'm picking it again. I don't hate it at its current price, which is somebody has got 200 copies on TCG Player for $8, and Card Kingdom's got it for $13. The card is Dictate of Erebos.
The gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on giving, right? Like, I mean, like Grave Pact at its current price isn't that bad, but like Dictate is $13 on Card Kingdom.
What?
$13 on
what?
card.
I remember you were talking about people
It's
should
50
pick this
cents.
up for about 6 months. While I was on the podcast, you guys can go back. I listened to this because I had to go do 200. And you talked about Dictate to Erebos so much that I wanted to do a little segment about you talking about Dictate to Erebos at 50 cents. So, yes, you told, if anyone listened to the podcast, they should have had a stack of these at some point and sold them probably earlier on.
I went on Command Zone for Christ's sake, and I was like, hey, Command Zone. And then Josh Lequois like, I'll buy $100 worth. Well, I hope you bought 50 copies, Josh, because that's $700 now. So, yeah, Dictate's getting there. You can still get them for like $7-8 on TCG Player.
Wow.
But that won't last. And it's a 13. Look, Card Kingdom charges a little bit more than TCG Player because Card Kingdom has got a really generous buy list. They pay the most on buy list most of the time, plus they have a trade-in bonus. So if Card Kingdom didn't do that, they like couldn't charge retail what TCG Player charges, plus have a generous buy list, plus a trade-in bonus. Otherwise, you could just arbitrage stuff. So I get it. Card Kingdom's got to be a little bit more, but at the same time, the market catches up to Card Kingdom on EDH stuff. They just know the EDH market really well. So, the TCG Player price will catch up to, it'll be above $10 soon, I think. And I think if you get these at $8, you'll be selling these at $11. And, hope you got a bunch of 50 cents, but if you didn't, this is a $13, $14 card for sure. If you look at, this has got one printing versus Grave Pact having multiple printings and being like a $13, $14 card. Plus not having, this doesn't have triple black the way Grave Pact does. So Dictate, yeah, I like it under $8. That's my pick of the week.
Sounds good. Sounds like we are running out of steam as well. So I think we might have to wrap up this podcast. There may be some more after hours after this, but you only know if you're subscribing at the proper level to get that after hours episodes. What level is that, Jason?
You're just quizzing me because I don't know. I
think it's the
$20. And that's not $20 an episode. That's $20 a month, which works out to $4 or $5 an episode, which is, I don't know. That's pretty, with the amount of money that our picks of the week make you. If you paid $5 an episode and you paid attention to our picks of the week, you would still end up ahead. Like anybody who's listened to our podcast, they're like, why would anybody pay $40 a month for this podcast to get on the episode? Well, if you're listening to our picks of the week, if you're listening to our Breaking Bulk picks, if you're listening to our finance picks, I think we can make the case that unlike other podcasts that are just like, listen to us and give us money, we actually make you the money back. So if you invested $20 a month or $40 or $50 a month or $100 a month, you'll make the money back. If you bought our picks of the week, you could probably pay for a whole year of Patreon at the $20 level, and you would have access to this handsome drinking glass I'm drinking out of. You would get our playmat. You would get our tokens. You would get access to the spreadsheet, so you could have the picks on Monday when everybody else is waiting for the podcast on Friday. You get a lot of benefits for being at the $20 level, and I think we're worth it. Ryan's yawning, but I think we're worth it. So thanks so much for listening.
I think you're worth it. No, I'm just looking at the price of box toppers and about to buy me some cheap ones.
Buy him some cheap box toppers.
Goryo's Vengeance is like $35.
Well, that's like a set foil.
That's like a set foil. That's pretty good. Well, hey, we love you. I will say, that the after hours is not the greatest value. You guys need to come up with some more shit to give the after hours level, because
when's the last time you listened to the after hours?
I listened to your whole catalog. It got sent to me. I wish you guys got available, and it's okay. But the spreadsheet is obviously the value you want to get in at. I think hands down, most people should get in at that 10. But 20 is people saying that they love the podcast and they're doing it for more than just the after hours.
No, and you know what? Don't listen to Marcel, because we are putting out a best of the after hours, which is like the best of 2018. And if you listen to that, I think you will be convinced that you should probably be in at the $20 level to have access to the after hours.
Adios, muchachos. See us next time. We may be here next week. In the meantime, we'll give it back to the guests.
That sounds like a threat more than anything.
Given this week, that is a threat.
You don't get your shit together, I will guest every week.
This podcast was muy caliente.
Well, if we cut me saying muy caliente, that won't make no sense. Like, you're making references to things that are only in the after hours for people who are at the $20 level. So make sure you're subscribed to the Patreon at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery at the $20 level to know what he means by muy calientes. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. This is Brainstorm Brewery 300. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right, I got a La Priest to catch.
So I have the perfect idea though. What if for the $20 level? Oh, okay. Well, go catch your Lapras. But at the $20 level, you should just do an audio recording and cut Corbin's audio, and just have that as an option.
Do like a Brainstorm Brewery remix with no Corbin.
Yeah, with no Corbin. It would be essentially the same podcast anyway. So I mean, just without Corbin. But yeah, offer that to people.